This is News with All Things Universal. My name is Michael Babcock. Thank you very much for joining me. Here now's the news for Friday, January 23rd of 2026. City Walk entrance debuts new billboards at Universal Orlando Resort. They feature different restaurants and experiences you can visit at the resort. I really like these billboards. They're really cool. They're really I really like the art on them. They're really cool to look at, and I'm glad that they this is something that they try to keep up with. It's obviously hard to keep updating things, but they do try to update those signs as much as they can. So, but I really like those signs. I really like them. They look great. They're nice and refreshed. So, will a lot of people notice them? I don't know, probably not, but I mean, to the average guest probably aren't going to notice them, but you and me, annual pass holders, we're definitely going to notice them. So I think we're going to like it better than the regular park guests. Four Universal guests attack team member over parking tickets. So what happened was the team member only validated 2 tickets, not 4. This was a mistake on the team member's part. This team member should have validated all of the parking tickets. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. When the guest went to so this was at one of the hotels. This was not at the theme parks. This was at a hotel. When the guest asked another team member to validate the parking tickets, that team member said, "I can't do that. I don't have access. I can't do that." So the irate guest went back and demanded that all the tickets be validated. She picked up the stamp, the thing that you would stamp the thing with. She picked that up and stamped the ticket herself. When the guest left, the team member contacted the parking attendant to tell them that she had not actually validated all the parking tickets. So she was just letting security know that, hey, I didn't do this. I didn't validate these. I did validate 1, but I didn't validate the other 3. The guests got more irate at that team member because of this. After they had a issue with security, so the guest went back to the team member, and the guest hit the team member in the face. And when she hit the team member in the face, it knocked her to the floor. The rest of the guests joined in, and they all of them started punching and hitting the team member. They had to call security. Security came, and all of the guests have been trespassed from the Luz Portofino Hotel. So look, this is just a wild story. This is just really, really crazy. Another guest incident. This is totally outrageous. This is outrageous. Look, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a mistake made by the team member. Okay, they didn't mean to. There was no ill intention here, and the guest, all the guests just got really, really irate, and they chose a wrong decision to start beating up on the team member that's just there to do her job. Okay, so what the hell is wrong with people? What is wrong with you? Why are you wanting to take your frustrations out on a team member that made a mistake? It was an honest mistake. Okay, and going back to another team member and saying, that I want all of my parking tickets validated, and the other team member at the restaurant couldn't help you. The sane option would have gone, you should have gone back to the team member and said, I think you made a mistake. I think that all of these parking tickets need to be validated. And they would have done that for you, and you would have moved on, and you would have moved on with your day. You would have been done. You would have called it a day. But the guests lost their temper and, started beating up on this poor team member. How dare you? How dare, have we lost all sense of have we lost all of our senses? You don't beat up on people. It's one thing to yell at people, and it's another thing to put your hands on them and attack them. And I really, in a perfect world, I wouldn't want either of them, but I would rather have people yelling at me than hitting me. I think that that's outrageous. That is totally outrageous. Good on Universal. Good on Universal. And obviously it's not just Universal that does that. It's all the other theme parks. When the guests get really out of hand like that, they trespass them. And I'm, really bad behavior is going to get you in a lot of trouble. Okay, it is going to get you in a lot of trouble. And kudos to Universal. Kudos to Universal and saying, you folks are no longer allowed, back into this hotel. I don't know if they banned them from the theme parks. I don't know, or if it was just the hotel, but I would have trespassed them from everywhere on property, not just the hotel. But I really hope that the team member is okay. It's, this is just unfortunate that people have nothing else to do with their time but start fights. Okay? You need to find another outlet. Find a better outlet for your time than starting fights and picking on people. Okay? So I really hope that I really hope that we can go back to us being regular human beings and not irate, stupid, crazy, people. Okay. I really hope that, we as a community or we as a society can go back to that, because this is outrageous. This is totally outrageous behavior. Something I never have seen until post-COVID. Okay? So I don't know what happened, but a switch has been flipped, and I don't know if I just don't know what the answer is. I just don't. But if you're going to be that way, don't come to the theme parks. Then these places are not for you. Okay? Stardust Racers roller coaster reopens at Epic Universe after trains were stuck for multiple days. So another incident with, with Epic Universe and a ride. I am glad that they got the issue fixed and everything. Obviously I'm not a roller coaster fan anyway, so I'm not a roller coaster guy. There's a few roller coasters that I do, but not a lot of them. There's a fine line of roller coasters that I do. I love Hagrid's. If we're gonna jump over, I do. I like Space Mountain. I don't do it all the time, but I Space Mountain's okay. I do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Sometimes Big Thunder Mountain, Slinky Dog Dash. So I do some roller coasters, okay? Universal's roller coasters, unfortunately, a lot of them are high speed, upside down, corkscrews and everything, and that's just too crazy for me. That's just too crazy for me. So I take the simpler ones, okay? But, if you are a Stardust Racer fan, then at least you'll be happy to know that the ride is back up. Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry reaches capacity before noon on January 21st. It's no surprise. This ride is, I would dare say, probably the most popular ride in the park. Probably one of the most popular rides in all of Universal. That ride is crazy. It is. I mean, we're talking like 200 to 300 minute waits. Even Hagrid's is not that bad. Now Hagrid's gets, pretty high, but nothing like Battle at the Ministry. I think Battle at the Ministry is probably, without sitting down and thinking about it, it's probably the most popular ride at Universal Orlando Resort. So if you do plan on going on that, please pack your patience. Pack your patience, because it's bad. It is bad. That's why I still haven't gone on it, because the wait time is just so outrageous. It is so outrageous, and I refuse to pay for fast passes. So the only way I would do it is single rider, and that's probably even bad also. So maybe one of these years I can ride it, but right now I am keeping my distance. Okay. Fast and Furious Coaster is replacing Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Orlando Resort. The great news about this is Fast and Furious Supercharged is finally closing. The worst ride in all of Universal is closing. Thank God. Now, the bad part of this is it's not closing until 2027. So we have a whole year more of Fast and Furious Supercharged. All right. So, big whoop. But, I think Universal could have done something different with this. There's another movie that comes to mind that would make an excellent roller coaster. It is Back to the Future. Back to the Future put people in the DeLoreans and send them on a high-speed roller coaster. That would be fantastic. Or if you want to do a Ghostbusters roller coaster, that would be great too. I don't think that Universal just has very much faith in their old, their old IP movies. They don't feel that way. They're worse than Disney. And Disney's gotten pretty, leaning more on the new IP, but Universal is really bad at that, where they lean so much on the new IP that it just pushes all of the other stuff out. And it's like, you have to have a nice balance of stuff, okay? So I really wished that it was either a Back to the Future roller coaster or a or a different kind of roller coaster, but they went with Fast and Furious. Is that good? I don't know. Time will tell. Time's gonna tell. But I mean, I would have preferred a Ghostbusters roller coaster or a Back to the Future roller coaster, but that's just me. But let me know in the comments how you feel. But I mean, of all the things to pick, you had to pick Fast and Furious. Okay. Okay. Fine, whatever. And our last story is the fire drill attraction is closing for a brief refurbishment at Universal Epic Universe. It's going to be closed relatively short. It's only going to be closed February 1st through February 7th, and then it will reopen. This is also the first refurbishment for the park. This is the first ride that's going for a refurbishment. I wish that they would do all the other rides with the refurbishment. Stardust Racers, I'm looking at you. But this is a great first step. Start with the water rides, because right now in Florida, it's very cold. A lot of people don't, want to ride water rides when it's, 60 degrees outside. So, I agree. Get the water rides done first, get those done with refurbishment, and then take a look at the other rides, because the other rides need to be, they need some care and attention as well. Okay, so I'm just saying. So hint, hint, Universal, you might want to think about that. All right, but there you are. There's your news for this week. Again, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel for more content. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. You guys have a great rest of your day. Everyone, please keep each other safe and healthy. Don't start fights. Please do not start fights, especially in theme parks. It's not a good look. And remember, the future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one.